Thank you so much for staying with us. So many things to talk about on the program today. The Niger Delta violence is what we've been talking about earlier. We talked about states and what is happening to them now and their workers. Some of them cannot pay salaries. We soon will resume into talking more about that later on. But what gets us talking is the agitation in the Niger Delta region. And I have with me Professor Akarise, Dr. Chris Ekiyo, and Barrister Emeka Onawapo. Many thanks also for staying with us here on the program. So you were talking about some statistics that you were giving to us.
Yes, they are here, but we may not have the time. Well, let me give you another maybe very mind-boggling statistics. If you get to Borodo, that's Escravos.
In Delta State.
In Delta State. The tank farm there, the oil company, say you want to measure oil companies, but the tank, the company came in there in 1963. At any time, you have at least 2,000 staff working there. The place is locked up. It's just like the Batusia policy. The food they eat are imported from Lagos. Most of the senior staff are flown in from Lagos there every day. You get it? Indigenes, they cannot access the place. So that what will have led to a kind of the economy, the communities, the Bodo community that hosts that company, benefiting. What you have there is a mummified economy. At any time, you have at least 2,000 staff working in that tank farm. But there's no way that the community don't even benefit, not even water.
Let me quickly go to the man who is the learned one. Still, Barrister Onawapo. When we wonder, what legal guide does all of these operations have? For example, if I have a mineral resource under the ground of my own fathers, and at least I cannot benefit as much, or the kind of situation that is happening in the Niger Delta, what does the Nigerian Constitution say about this matter, and what exactly do you make of what is happening right there?
You see, excuse me, oil and gas belongs to the exclusive list. So states cannot legislate on it fully, you know. So what has happened is the federal government was supposed to use the earnings from the oil and gas to develop the whole country and to develop the area where these resources are coming from. But they have not done that. There's so much neglect in development. Not only the Niger Delta, there's no development going on in a lot of, a chunk of the country. You see, if you don't put development in place, there will be problems. You know, like now they're agitating that, look, why should the university, the Maritime University, why should you shut it down? It's unheard of.
That was an issue of, argument between the Minister for Transport and the Minister for Petroleum, whether or not they will continue or whether or not the funding will go on. What the issue is about the land. But what is the issue about that right now?
You see, it springs up legal issues. Government is a continuum. The past government, in their wisdom, got a valuation for that university to be set up. That valuation must have been taken to the Ministry of Transport, who will send it to Ministry of Housing or Survey to do a valuation, which was now sent to the Federal Executive Council. The Federal Executive Council approved this. And here we have a minister in a new regime who was also part of the former government, who must have attended the Federal Executive Council meeting, and he says, oh, give me 13 million, I'll buy half of Lagos. You know, it means they're not comprehending this. They're not comprehending the impact a university will make in a community. A community that has been restive.
Does it take away the fact that that 13 billion may be too expensive for acquisition of that property?
Sorry,
let me cut in. I'd like to be specific. Government is being economical with the truth about the 13 billion. So you need to dig deep. If you listen to what the Minister President said, a lot of infrastructure have gone in. Government paid money including reclamation and certain infrastructure that needed to exist. There was a fantastic infrastructure that was privately owned, that was sold. The common thing is that there is a due process office in Abuja that's certified. Now, let us be semantically clear. If government overpaid for a property, it doesn't provide reason for you to start chasing the seller. You need to call him back to the table and renegotiate your buy. It's not a war situation. Now, that's part of also why we are nosediving into more conflict. Government at the center is not helping matter. In Delta State, the governor was proactive when these security challenges came up and set up a high-powered committee headed by the deputy governor as chairman and myself as secretary, the Delta State Advocacy Committee on Peace. We were in the creeks 8 days. The mere fact that our faces were in the river, whoever was doing violence, somehow, let's say, bros in the river, they downtown. In the middle of that, federal government sends in its army to harass the communities. And then there was response. While we're going to Abuja to say, listen, allow us to solve this Delta problem, where the government has constituted a very high-powered committee of chiefs of staff of this office and that office, and then there were more bombings. The point is, the federal government must be the father-in-law, demystify this APC, PDP thing, security, economy, lives. They don't know parties. Partisan politics is before election. Once you win, government is government.
Yeah, but again, I would again ask the lawyer about the fact that some of the demands have been made by the major attackers on our oil installations right now, the Niger Delta Avengers. Are they founded? Can anyone, are those reasonable demands in any case?
You know, most of the demands are, you may, depending on where you are feeling it from. For instance, I go back to the university again. They are questioning why should this be the only university among the 11 or 12 that the former government set up. Why should it be the university you want to shut down? Why do we stay here and there's no development?
Could that be a reason for agitation?
You see, different people react to different things. Like I was telling somebody, I'm in Lagos. Things are not as bad as they are in the creeks. I'll tell you, if you go to you enter Bayelsa, you enter some places, there is crude oil as high as 3 feet or 4 on their water, which means you can't fish, you can't use the water for drinking. In some communities, they don't know what is nighttime because there's continuous flaring of gas. So such a community will not have people who will be very reasonable in their agitation. Take, for instance, in a place like Canada, they have so much oil, far above what we have. But you don't know the difference between an oil-producing part of Canada and the non-oil producing part. Why? They have roads, they have oil, they have light, they have communication, they have free health. They don't suffer anything. However, in Nigeria, we even have enough money to do this, but we don't want to do it. If you don't develop your country, there's no education. You see, with the population India has, what do they have going for them? It's education. They are selling software. All the Bill Gates and the rest are coming to buy their software. Their film industry is selling. If they didn't have these things they are selling out, they will crumble.
Let me quickly talk to Professor Akareze now. What happened to the amnesty program? Because now there seems to be, the amnesty program seems to be a very good model to quenching that unrest. But should they be modified, or what should we be looking at differently this time? Because the unrest, or the uprising is here again.
Please, Dr. Kia has handled that issue. You get it? The question of tokenism. He has handled that issue. But before that, I want to make an observation to thank the Honorable Minister for Petroleum, Ibe Kashiku, for visiting that area. But I still want to implore him to visit more areas. People, the way press actually be propagandizing, it's as if once you visit that area, you'll be killed. As if not human being living in that area. But as for the amnesty issue, it is tokenism. I've told you, that's government. I've told you transnational cooperation. I've told you the role of individuals. Look, we don't have the time for him to give you statistics of the level of employment. And I've just told you that, for example, an oil conglomerate has been Escravos, Obrodo since 1963. That conglomerate is still using houseboat not a single building. But by the time you get to Lekki, go and see the buildings they have there. Even Shell in Port Harcourt has massive housing estate. If by the time you get to Eket, Mobi has something. But what does this particular transnational oil conglomerate does? Is to every day ferry its staff from Lagos. The amount of money spent on hiring whether Aero, Bristol, etc., it's enough to construct road from Warri to Ugbodo. And once that is done, you discover that issue of militancy will definitely get out of it. Look, as for the university, let me say, Claire, you may hear some person say, no, that university, no. No reasonable person. I attended University of Ife, University of Nigeria. I'm not from Ife. University is for every universal. My children will go there. And that university has a way, could be a master stroke. Establish that university there. You see, the people from that area will allow you to bring guns there because the university will automatically close. So it's even in the interest of the federal government that university must.
So more should be done in those communities.
Yeah, look, if you say more, you see, we are still within the realm of tokenism. There should be a fundamental restructuring, not necessarily in terms of the attitude, employment pattern.
But what
managerial
the monies that have
of the
been spent over the years,
corporation.
a big question is, how has it been managed?
That is a
Excuse
blackmail.
me, whatever.
No, it's a question.
That is
isn't
a
it?
blackmail.
You've been to Lekki. See what has been spent there and see
No,
what.
that is a blackmail. You know,
That's
let me tell you
blackmail.
what has happened. They talk about 13% derivation. They talk about amnesty. They talk about NDDC. They talk about Niger Delta Ministry. They're names. When you create the NDDC, government has not funded it as it should fund it. In fact, if the multinationals don't pay their own taxes and royalties to NDDC, it cannot do a kilometer of road. Because first of all, it is another big bureaucratic body where to even draw the government part of the fund is a crisis. The Niger Delta Ministry has not been funded. It is always underfunded. In fact, the amnesty office today, that is, if you call tokenism, is even underfunded. What the statistics that I have for that office is that for those earning 65 will not earn 22. In itself is a crisis. The amnesty program, what went wrong? Under Eradua, I was on the table when it was discussed. It was just a gateway. Get these people out of violence, reintegrate them. While you are doing that, go into building new towns, into building infrastructure in the Niger Delta, coastal road, create the equity, the 10% equity, where communities will join in the JV, and 10% of whatever income comes will be dedicated to infrastructure.
Have those been done?
They put it to sleep. And that is why the boys are back on the creek and saying,
NDDC is there.
Listen, it is not funded. It is not funded.
They have been budgeted. There are budgets for it.
Over 300 billion on paid funds. The Niger Delta Ministry assistance now cannot do anything, not even on the east-west road as we're going. But what I'm saying is that government need to put a human face in its policies. And if government does that and move, and then there must be synergy between the center, the community, and the states. Now, for the violence, it's unfortunate that
That's
it's
a
happening.
moment. We need to go on break. But when we come back, we'll be talking about solutions. We'll take a moment, and we'll be back. Stay with us.